Hi friends, what you see on my screen is Nifty India Defense Index, and between 28th February 2025 and 7th May 2025, this index has rallied by almost 35%. So it has gone back to pre-correction level from the time the index started to fall down, and this recovery is what is called V-shaped recovery. And if I'm not wrong, Indian defense sector is the only sector that has shown very solid recovery within weeks of falling down, and that tells us that there is a lot of confidence from investors in this particular sector. Point number two is that the current situation between India and Pakistan tells us that our defense allocation, budget allocation to defense sector cannot be really reduced. We cannot really afford to do that on the cost of security safety of our citizen and our country as a whole. So in my view, the budget allocation to defense sector may continue to go up in the next coming years because of our neighbors that we have. One side we have Pakistan, other side we have China. So as investors, we really need to dig deeper into this particular space and look at various companies and stocks operating in this particular sector and find out which are some fundamentally strong stocks. So in this video, what I plan to do is I'm going to run you through 3 defense stocks. Now, if you look at the Nifty India Defense Index, here are the top 10 stocks within this particular index. And in this video, I'm going to help you learn 3 stocks out of these 10 because I cannot cover all these 10 stocks in one single video. But based on the response of this video, I might actually go and create part 2. So let me know in the comments if you would like me to create part 2. But in this video, I'm going to pick up 3 stocks out of these 10. Every word I speak will be backed by data. Don't yet like this video. Watch this video for the next 5 to 7 minutes. I'm pretty sure that you're going to smash the like button. With that, let's get this video cracking. The first stock that I'm going to discuss with you is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL. In fact, in the month of March 2025, I created in-depth analysis for my YouTube community talking about various aspects of HAL. Again, I cannot cover all of these points for you here in this video, but I will bring you some hypercritical points about HAL so that you can understand a lot about this company. The first key point is, let me take you to their profit and loss statement account. And what you note here is that in the last 3 months between March 2021 to 2024, company's top line grew by 1.3 times. And if you look at the profits, in fact, they grew faster than the top line at around 2.3x. What is also very encouraging about this company is that trailing 12-month profit growth, if you see, has been around 41%. Now you may say that, Rahul, this is the past data. What about future prospect of this company's top line and bottom line? So allow me 2 minutes of time. I'm going to share you some important data points with you. First point is that if you look at the company's revenue, around 30,000 crore is the run rate in the last 12 months. And if you break it down, what you will note is that around 47% of this revenue comes from repairing and overhaul, and 19% is spares. And if you put this together, it is around 70% of the revenues. Now, as this company delivers more and more aircrafts and helicopters, all of these products are going to need repair over a longer period of time. Repair, maintenance, upgrade, and things like that. And 70% of this revenue right now is coming from repair and spare parts. And guess what? More order this company delivers in future, the repair and the spare part revenues are likely to see healthier growth. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is that 18% of their sale is coming from new products. And this is also very important aspect of HAL's next 10 years journey. I'm not talking about 2 months down the line, 6 months down the line. I'm really talking about 5 years, 8 years, 10 years sort of a time horizon. Because if you look at the order book of this company, by the end of FY25, which is March 25, company's order book was 1.8 lakh crores. Now put this in some perspective for you. 30,000 crores is the net revenue this company is doing. This order book is almost 6 times their annual revenue as of now. So healthy order book, what we are able to see here. More importantly, if you look at the last year's order book, FY24, it used to be around 94,000 crore. So within 1 year time frame, the order book of this company has gone almost double, 2 times. And this scale we are talking about is in lakh crores. This is a huge scale in terms of the order book. So this is very encouraging from a long-term revenue visibility perspective for HAL. However, there is always a however. Why we need to understand this order book is not something that is going to immediately give them these revenues is what we need to understand. For example, if you look at this order that they got very recently, biggest order they got recently is 62,000 crore worth of order, which is for light combat helicopter called Prachand. There are total 156 Prachand helicopters that the company will deliver. Now, if you look at the timelines of this delivery, if I just come down here and show you the timelines of this delivery, the delivery will start in the third year. So the order has come in now in 2025. The delivery will start in 2028, and the delivery will take almost next 5 years. So these helicopters will be delivered between 28 and 33. So there is a long horizon here, and all of this 62,000 crores of order book is not going to be realized in the top line immediately. That's the point you need to know, that although the company has got a very huge healthy order book, it doesn't mean that they're going to grow at, 80% or 100% from a top line perspective. But overall, if you ask me, because of this healthy order book, the sentiments about a particular company go really high, because there is going to be revenue visibility. And also there are few big orders in the pipeline. As the management stated, they said that in the next 18 to 24 months, they might get orders for UHM, ALH, which might be around 25,000 to 30,000 crores. So this order book is not going to sit there. It is going to swell up even further as they start getting more and more orders in the upcoming years. So far I have only covered the earnings part, which is the P&L part of this company. Now let me speak about 3 important points about their balance sheet that you are not likely to find anywhere. Point number 1 is that, have a look at my screen, FY24. At the end of FY24, company's borrowings were 0. I looked at their balance sheet and found that the net debt of the company is 0. So that is very good. The balance sheet is cleaned up. There is no problem in the balance sheet. The second, even more important point that you need to understand about HAL is that because they have to upfront invest a lot of money into manufacturing the helicopters and aircrafts, because all of these manufacturing processes are capital intensive, what this company actually does is that it takes advances from the customers like India's Defense Ministry. And here you see the data as of March 2024, company had advances from their customers, which is almost here 7,000 crores. This data is in lakhs. So if you divide it by 100, you come to 7,200 crores worth of advances is what this company has taken. And that helps them in their working capital, meaning that they would have to pay less interest on the working capital, meaning that their balance sheet is likely to be healthier going forward as well. The third and the last point about their balance sheet is the cash reserves and bank balances. Have a look at my screen. What you see here is that almost 4,200 crores of cash and cash equivalent is what the company holds as of FY24, and also around 22,000 crores worth of bank balances is what company has. So if you put this all together, around 26,000 crores of liquidity is what this company has. Now the reason I've told you these 3 points is that their balance sheet is at its prime. It is very cleaned up balance sheet, very healthy balance sheet. And from a profit and loss statement perspective, we have talked about the order book. So there is a huge visibility in terms of the revenues and top line. Therefore, if you ask me, HAL is a solid, fundamentally strong company as of now. Again, I'm not saying that you go and invest in this company, but at least this commentary helps you understand what is the financial health of HAL. And my last point about HAL is that if you look at the PE ratio of this company, it is at around 35 at the time of recording this video. Industry is operating at around 80, 79. If you look at the book value of the company, that's the reason I talked about the balance sheet as well, because you need to understand if the balance sheet is very healthy, then if you look at the price to book value ratio, investors are likely to pay more for it. And that's why if you see current price to book value is around 9.59 and industry operates at around 8.42. If you look at the ROC, ROE, very good set of numbers here. PEG ratio is also low, which is great that the company is growing. Although the price is also going up, but the company is growing at a healthier rate from an earning per share perspective. Hope this commentary helps you understand about HAL. It is not a recommendation, but if you like this analysis, I request you to hit the like button. Let me know in the comments a simple thank you. It motivates me to bring such content for you at zero cost. Also, if you are looking for exclusive analysis like these, you can consider joining my YouTube community. I post in-depth analysis about various assets, not just stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, various other assets that will help you get timely information, timely analysis, will help you make some good decisions in your investing journey. Feedback of this community has been excellent. Go to my channel, find the join button and be my guest. With that, let's move to stock number 2 now. The second stock I want to speak about is Bharat Electronics Limited, BEL. Now, this was not a promotional clip or video at all about Bharat Electronics Limited. I happened to recently watch this particular video as part of my research, and I found this conversation with their CMD very, very insightful. So I thought I'll bring a clip from that particular video. If you want to go and watch that video, I'll give the link of that video in the description and in the pinned comments. You can go and watch that video as well if you want to know a lot of details about that particular company from their chairman. But coming back to this company's profit and loss statement, you will note very, very similar pattern with what happened with HAL. So if you look at between 21 to 24, from a top line perspective, it has gone up by 1.5 times. If you look at the profit, it has gone up by around 2x. Trailing 12 months profitability, if you see, around 40%. So very, very healthy growth rate is what we're seeing in the last 12 months or so. The question is that, can this sustain? So for this, have a look at this company's order book. It is standing at around 71,000 crore as of April 2025. Last year, they only got orders worth 18,000 crore, which was a miss because the company had guided for around 25,000 crore worth orders in FY25, and they only got around 18,000 crores worth orders. But if you were to track only one thing about this company, that will have to be these upcoming orders, which are QRSAM and MRSAM. These two orders are going to be very, very chunky orders for Bharat Electronics Limited. It could be somewhere around 25,000 to 30,000 crores, and that's why the company is projecting that in FY26 their order inflows might be somewhere between 25,000 crore to 50,000 crore. And when I was doing some more digging, what I found is that recently on 3rd of May there was this article in the news that Indian Ministry of Defense is set to give green light to this 25,000 crores of QRSAM order. This is going to be huge order for Bharat Electronics Limited. Whenever it comes, again, we don't know when it will come, but once this is confirmed, this is going to be a very, very good order visibility for Bharat Electronics Limited. Just so that you know, Bharat Electronics Limited manufactures electronics that are used in, for example, weapon systems like missiles. So they produce a wide range of electronics, and in fact, HAL is one of their good customers or large customers, if I may say. If you look at the balance sheet of Bharat Electronics Limited, very quickly you will note that borrowings are very, very low, around 60 crores only. If you look at the advances from customers, very similar situation that Bharat Electronics Limited also has, that we saw in HAL. If you look at the advances from customers, they are all-time high, which is very, very good for a company from a working capital perspective. That really helps them maintain higher margins overall. And also, if you look at the cash balances of this company here, if you come down and have a look at cash equivalents, they are also very, very good, healthy, 8,000 crores almost. So overall, if you ask me, balance sheet perspective looks very, very stable and healthy. If you look at the PE ratio of Bharat Electronics Limited at the time of recording this video, around 45, not hugely high, not like in 70s or 80s. If you look at the industry PE, which is at around 62, from a book value perspective, it is trading slightly higher, 12.87 versus industry PB, which is 7.87. PEG ratio is also slightly higher as compared to HAL. ROCE number, ROE number are looking very, very healthy. So this is all about Bharat Electronics Limited, and I hope you liked this analysis as well. If you did, press the like button while I move to my third stock, which is going to be even more interesting. Now, the third company that I want to speak about is Solar Industries India Limited. Very, very interesting company. And one thing that I want to start with about this company is that this company's defense sector allocation in terms of revenues, or the proportion of their revenues coming from defense, was only 7% as of FY24. But in the first 9 months of FY25, this has gone up to 17%. So although it is not a 100% defense sector company, the share of the defense sector in their revenues is going up significantly. And that's why I thought I'll speak about this particular company. So this company is heavily into industrial explosives. As you can see on my screen, they really manufacture these explosives which could be used in, for example, mining. That's why if I talk about CIL, which is Coal India Limited, is contributing around 12% of their net sales, because this company produce explosives which are used in mining. They're used in construction and various other sectors. But when it comes to defense, there has been some significant movement for this company. Point number one is that this company recently was visited by our Prime Minister Modi ji in the month of March 2025, and this sets the scene for this company. This is a privately owned company, by the way. It is not a PSU. As you can see in their investors, if you go and look at the promoters here, this company is privately held. It is not a PSU, which is very, very different from what we saw in HAL and BEL. Now, coming back to this company's defense tailwinds that I was talking about, very, very recently in the month of January 2025, this company received a mega order of 12,000 crores, which is to set up a mega defense and aerospace project in Nagpur in Maharashtra. This has been a MOU with government of Maharashtra, and this company is going to set up this particular project for drones, UAVs, counter drone systems, new generation explosive, etc. So this company is now big time going into defense. Second project that they got very recently was in the month of February 2025. Here they got an order for Pinaka rockets, okay, Pinaka multiple launch rocket system, and this was worth 6,000 crores. So what we can really see here is that in the last few months they have got bulky, chunky orders coming from defense, and Prime Minister's visit to their facilities does tell me that defense sector is actually going to push their sales up, profitability up. In fact, I'll talk about margins a little bit later, how defense is really helping them achieve higher margins. But overall, if you see this context here, what you note here is that this company is not 100% into defense, but defense is now driving this company's revenues and profitability. If I talk about the P&L of this company, you will note that between 21 to 25, this has managed to grow at 3x, which is higher than HAL and BEL, and from a profitability perspective as well at 3x. Albeit the scale at which the company is operating, 6,000 crores worth of revenue, around 7,000 crores in trailing 12 months, and the profitability is around 1185 crores. It is much slower scale than Bharat Electronics Limited and HAL, but overall the growth has been really high. And if you look at the trailing 12-month profit growth, around 39%. So in the last 12 months, 4 quarters, the company's growth in terms of the profit has been very, very good, 40% of growth rate. But one key important point that you note about March 2024 is that the revenue dipped slightly from around 6,900 crore in March 2023 to around 6,000 crore. Why was this dip? Very, very important point that you need to understand, that this company's raw material that they use in explosives is something called as ammonium nitrate, and the ammonium nitrate prices really impact this company's sales and profitability. In FY24, ammonium nitrate was on the costlier side. That's why the company's revenues and profitability took a hit. But overall, if you look at some of the key strong points about this particular company, you will note that it has a market share of around 24%. This is a high entry barrier sort of industry that this company operates in. Their largest customer is Coal India Limited. So yes, there is a dependency on Coal India Limited. But if you look at the order book, this was the number as of December 2024. The order book is not very high, around 7,000 crore. But of course, this does not include the orders that I showed you that came in the month of January, February. We do not have an official statement given by the company as such about the order book, but as soon as I find that, I'll try to add that in the notes as well. But as of December 2024, the order book was around 7,000 crore, which is around 12 months of revenue visibility, which is not a huge order book per se. What we saw in HAL, what we saw in Bharat Electronics Limited, their order book is really, really huge. Here the order book is limited, but again, I need to get you the final number so that you understand where we stand in terms of the order book. Now, if you look at the operating margin of this company, up until FY23, they used to be around 18%, 21%, but very recently in 24 and 25, their operating margins have gone up to around 23% to around 26%. Why? Because of defense tailwinds. When they're executing defense projects, their profit margins, operating margins are on the higher side. That's where hopefully, if more defense projects come into this company's profitability is likely to grow faster than the revenues. This is one of the tailwinds that I wanted you to be aware of. Now, if you look at the PE of this stock right now, it is trading at around 107. And again, there is no comparison here because this company is sort of a monopoly or sort of a very unique company that is producing explosives. So there is no like for like comparison as such. But in my view, the PE right now is on the higher side. If you look at the PE of this company in the last 3 years, median PE has been around 70. So right now it is trading at slightly high PE, mainly because of the tailwinds that it is enjoying from the defense sector. If you look at the shareholding pattern of this company, what you will note here is that the promoters hold solid 73% stake in the company. If you look at the FIs, they have done some selling in the quarter of March 2025. The stakes have come down while the DIs have done some buyings. But overall, if you see, this company is enjoying tailwinds coming from the defense sector, and that is what is driving the order book of this company as of now. I hope you really like this analysis as well. If you did, press the like button. Also, you can consider joining my YouTube community if you want to get exclusive analysis for yourself. I post almost on a daily basis and you're going to learn a lot with that analysis. With that, in this video, I've talked about 3 stocks. Let me know in the comments which stock out of these three you personally like. I would love to read your comments. Also, let me know in the comments any other stocks you would like me to consider giving you a lot of information, lot of analysis from my side. I will look at your comments and will pick up those stocks that have got the highest comments or highest likes. With that, I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, keep rocking.